Hi, I'm Markus Scheibenflug, and I want to tell you the typical marks of headshaking horses in the exteriors. Um, I found out a few years ago, training in the correct biomechanical way, that oldest headshakers have a wrong posture, and at the moment, this headshaking horses coming out from this wrong posture in a correct biomechanical posture, they stop head shaking. And I want to show you the exterior marks I found in almost every head shaking horses I saw. I trained more than 300 head shaking horses by myself, and everyone stopped head shaking from the moment on they are in a correct moving. Here are some pictures I prepared. This was at this moment an 18-year-old half thoroughbred, half warm blood mix. It was a military horse. Um, he was moving. He was moving very hollow in his back, and he was shaking not only on the saddle. He was shaking in the barn, in the fields, on the paddock, everywhere. So we started this training to bring him out of this hollow back, to bring him to the upper muscle of the neck, to bring the back in a straight line, to bring the hip forward, that the bow in the behind is coming that way, and the bow of the front side, of the front part of the horse, is moving that way. So you can imagine there are uh, two different wheels, that the back wheel should be that way and the front wheel should moving that way, that the belly muscle behind are getting shorter. The line between here and here should shorten, and the line in the upper way should lengthen, that the ligamentum nuchae, this should get stretched, and this stretching moves my withers forward. So the next horse was uh, a jumping horse. He was not that worse, so he was only shaking on the saddle. We trained him mostly in cantering. Uh, it is not that tremendous upward backline, and you'll not see very significant this short, this very uh, hard angle from the end of the withers to the back. In further pictures, you see it more significant. But you see here the same, that the thorax is sunken, the thorax is downwards, and you see this very active lower neck muscle. This is a quarter horse. This quarter horse is, you see this very tremendous upward backline. Here, often a quarter horse have not that significant withers, but you see very good that his lower neck muscles are very prominent, so this is very active, and as long as the lower back muscle, the lower neck muscles is active, the muscles who are carrying the thorax cannot be active. So the sunken thorax cannot moving upwards as long as the lower neck muscles are active. So this active is inactivating the muscles who carrying the thorax. And our first, or one of the first steps is we have to inactivate the lower neck muscles, and we do this that we bring the horse in a downwards long neck position. This horse is a mixed breed, between a four gate Pasovino and a Iberian breed. And this horse, on this picture, you can't see it in that good side that this horse is very hypermobile, very uh, very hypertensed. So from the moment this horse was moving, he was tensed in his back. It was more in this very upward neck, and it's not only for the picture. So it is moving every time or standing every time in that way. If the mane would be shorter, you could see this lower neck muscles on that way, and the horse was moving from the beginning on, that the hocks are moving very wide outside, very wide behind this line of where the tail is starting. This was a warm blood. This warm blood has not this very significant angle between the withers and the backline, but you see that here is no bow, or very, very small bow from the withers to the neck. Here the horse is the neck should the muscles of the neck should very good condition in the upper part of the neck, but you see that this horse had the most active and hypertrophy in his muscles in the lower part of his neck. This is a jumping mare. This jumping mare was without head shaking in the barn, without head shaking in the fields, but from the moment she was on the saddle, she started that he started head shaking, and you can imagine this horse is very outside with her hips, and very straight in his hind legs. And if you have a little bit of imagination, you can imagine that this horse, if the horse should change his angle from that way, from the knee to that sit bone to the tubercoxa, a little bit downwards, that this angle would be here. This angle could be as well in another way, and then the horse would have the backline not that upwards, and the thorax could move upwards, and then the horse can lengthen and stretch his ligamentum nuchae from the withers to the neck, make a bow, and this is the most important. This is the most important part of the horse by the head shaking horses, because here is the most tension, the most pressure on the trapezius muscle, and as long as the trapezius cannot relax on that position, the head shaking cannot disappear. This horse, you see that also it is a very upward line of the neck, this very downward withers, a very short wither. The withers should move more straight, more flat into the back, and this outstanding back legs. So that from the moment the horse starts moving, the horse is pushing more and more his body forward and not upward. So he's not carrying, he's more pushing. And then it is getting more and more up, the backline up, and not the other way. So our aim of riding and training horses is that we train the horse to get more and more carrying his own weight, and with the rider's weight, of course. And for that, and to see at the neck here, it is very, very tense. Not a light neck, it's a very heavy neck. So we need to lengthen the neck, we need to inactivate the lower neck muscles that the thorax can move upward and the angle of the withers can go more flat. This was a warm blood. You see this belly without good tension, so the line of the belly should be more that way. This is not fat. This is not that the horse is overfeeded. It is more that the horse has too less activated his belly muscles, and that's the cause why this horse has to tense or use his back muscles to carry herself and the rider. But this is not the way a horse should move. A horse should move to use his belly muscles in tension, that he can relax his back muscles, because the back muscles are not for long or middle long distances or time. The belly muscles are more, because it's not that thick and in another way constructed, that you can contract it in longer time, longer way, without getting sore. This is a mixed breed of a draft horse and a warm blood, and you can't see this prominent withers. So it's like quarters of the same, not that prominent, not that high withers. It is not that easy to see how the wither is sunken, how the wither is broken downwards, but you see this heavy neck, this active hypertrophy lower neck muscle, and this sunken thorax. I choose those pictures to show you how headshaking horses are often moving, and they're moving that the hocks are moving too wide, too long backwards, and if the horse is moving their hocks too much outside, he has to contract her muscles here, because this angle is too wide outside, and this horse has to carry with contracting these muscles from here to here, this is the area in front of the hip, and then this part is tensed and cannot moving and not swinging and relaxing. So our aim to train is the first step, that the horse is not moving his hocks more than outside behind the start of the tail. So this should the line where the hocks should move, not very much outside behind. This picture I choose to show you. This is how horses escape, how horses run away in the wild fields without any riders. But this is only for a few hundred meters, and not for training, not for carrying riders or themselves long distances. So this hollow back you see mostly in not only in headshakers, but in bad ridden or in bad selected horses, or in a way we don't need our horses. These arrows show here is the most pressure of the to the trapezius muscle. It is the transition from the withers to the back, and these arrows show how the movement of the horse is going outside behind, and you can see on this picture as well as the belly is not good in tension. and the hind part, the behind part of the horse is too high, and the aim of our training is that the backline should be parallel to the ground and not going upwards. So we have to train our horses in a way that it is not hollow the back, it is shorten his lower line of the belly, that the hips is moving that way forward and the front part is moving that way. So if you can imagine, there are two wheels, so the back wheel should move downwards, that the hip is going to ground, and in the front part, often are they moving them in that way, so that the horse is here moving the withers down, and the neck is coming too high. So we need that if the horse is moving the back wheel downwards, also need that the front wheel is moving downwards as well. It is not that the neck should every time has to be low and deep, of course, but we have to train that our horses are not activating their lower neck muscles. Then the horse can relax this point, the transition between withers and back, and here then the horse can relax. This is the trapezius muscle, can relax the trapezius muscle, and from that moment on, this has no pressure and no pain. The head shaking will disappear. And I hope I show you a few marks of typical marks of head shaking horses. In the next video, the second part, I will show you how you can train your horse. First steps, bring him out of this wrong posture. And I thank you for your interest and stay tuned.